welcome back to McClutchy Maths. My name is Natalie McClutchy and this is our second video in our Quadratics playlist. Now there is some prerequisite knowledge that you need to make sure you know before we get started today, and if not, go back and watch these videos again. Firstly, watch videos 9 and 10 in our advanced algebra playlist. You need to be able to understand perfect squares and difference of perfect squares as well. You need to know how to work with algebraic fractions before you work with ones with quadratics. So jump into videos 2 and 3 of our advanced algebra playlist. And I'm assuming you've watched our first video in this series so that you know how to factorize a quadratic that's monic to start with. Okay, let's look at our first worked example. It's simplifying k squared take away 49 on the numerator divided by k squared plus 9x plus 14. So one of the big misunderstandings I see students doing here is trying to cancel too quickly. And one of the big no-nos looks like that. Well, you can't just do k squared divided by k squared to cancel those out because this is not k squared by itself. And this is not k squared by itself. It's k squared subtracting 49, and this is k squared with other terms added to it. So you cannot do that. That is a no-no. Instead, what we need to do is factorize the top, factorize the bottom, and then look for common factors. Okay, so if we look at the numerator here, we can use difference of two squares there. So this will factorize out to k plus 7, k minus 7. Our next step now is to use what we learned in video 1 to factorize this monic quadratic. So I'm looking for factor pairs of 14 that add together to make 9. Well, I know that 7 times 2 makes 14 and 7 plus 2 makes 9. Also, I've got another factor pair of 1 and 14, and they will add together to be 15. So really, this is the one we want to go with. So that means the bottom will be k plus 2 multiplied by k plus 7. Now, I've got a common factor, top and bottom, which is k plus 7. I can actually cancel those factors now. Okay, so I'm going to cancel those. This is different to cancel because we've got addition and subtraction here, whereas here we've got multiplication. So that makes it okay. So now I've done that, my final answer is going to be k minus 7 divided by k plus 2. Here is worked example 2. I've got simplifying y squared plus 6y plus 9 all over y squared take away 4y take away 21. Now this looks like two monic quadratics this time. However, on the top, on the numerator, I've actually got a perfect square there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factorize that as y plus 3 multiplied by y plus 3. What I could have done was I could have written y plus 3 all squared, but it'll make it much easier for me to cancel things out later on if I leave that as two sets of brackets. That's just something to be aware of there. Now let's factorize the denominator. I've got a monic quadratic here, and my factor pairs of negative 21 are going to be combinations of 7 and 3 and 21 and 1. And I know straight away by looking at it that I need one of these combinations to get me negative 4. Now if I do negative 7 plus positive 3, I get negative 4. That is the option I am looking for there. So let's now put that in a factorized form. I've got y minus 7 multiplied by y plus 3. And I can see straight away I've got some cancelling that I can do here as well. Common factors are y plus 3. I could have done this one on the right as well, just one of those. So that leaves me with y plus 3 on the top all over y minus 7. Here is my third example, and now I've got fractions that I need to simplify in this direction, but also I've got multiplying in that direction as well. So let's do all our factorising first and then see where we go from there. Let's focus on that first fraction now. I've got difference of two squares there. So let's break that out into j plus 2 multiplied by j minus 2. Now let's focus on the denominator of that first fraction. And I've got a monic quadratic there, not a perfect square. So I can break those out. Looking at those factor pairs of negative 2, I've got a choice of negative 2 by 1 or 2 by negative 1. If I add these together, the first option is going to add to negative 1. This will add to positive 1. That's the one I want to go with because there's a positive 1 in front of that j. We just don't write the 1. So that means that's going to break out into j plus 2 multiplied by j minus 1. Okay, so now let's look at this second fraction now. Focusing on our numerator, once again, same principles here of factorising monic quadratics, looking for factor pairs of negative 4. I've got a choice of negative 4 times positive 1, positive 4 times negative 1, and negative 2 times 2. I could do that in reverse, but that would be redundant. Okay, so let's look at which ones add to positive 3. Well, this one adds to negative 3, so no. This this one here adds to 0, so no. So it's got to be that one in the middle, because 4 plus negative 1 means 4 minus 1, which is 3. Okay, so now I factorise that into j plus 4 multiplied by j minus 1. And now I'm left with this 1 on the bottom that I can also factorise. So let's do that one there. Common factor is 2 outside of brackets, j minus 2 on the inside of the brackets. Okay, now that I've got this whole thing going on, it looks pretty scary, but I've got common factors on the top and the bottom, which I can cancel. So I've got a j plus 2 and a j plus 2. Goodbye. I've got a j minus 2 and a j minus 2. Goodbye. And a j minus 1 and a j minus 1. See you later. Which leaves me with just j plus 4 all over 2. Who would have thought that that would have ended up with something so simple, but we got there. Well, that's everything for this video. If you would like to find that helpful and engage with us further, you could like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you know when video 3 is coming right up. And why not consider telling someone about the video if you found it helpful? You could share the link or put it on your class OneNote, or even tell us in the comments. And if it really saved your lesson plan, if you're a teacher, or helped you prepare for the exam the night before, then maybe you could say thanks by hitting that little love heart button and donating $2 with your secure and confidential PayPal account. If you've got any questions about anything you saw today, you can reach us at mcclutchymaths@yahoo.com. Well, I'm Natalie McClutchy. You've been watching McClutchy Maths. Have a fantastic day.